Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully some other people can join and pick back up. My name is Stephanie Bennett. I am the manager of the Genealogy and History Division here at the Dallas Public Library. I'm coming to you live from the library today. And we're going to talk a little bit about what our library does. And a great transcription project that you can help us with virtually from the comfort of your own home, and why that project is important and why we love your help. So we're going to talk about Dallas Public Library collections that we have available. If you've never been to our library, I give you a brief overview of who we are and what we do. We're going to talk about our new Heritage Lab, which is actually a state-of-the-art digitization lab, where you can digitize your old VHS tapes, family scrapbooks, photos, slides, and more. And then we'll talk about our special scanning project that we have with one of our library collections. And then we'll talk about how that scanning project turned into a transcription project, and how you can volunteer with the Dallas Public Library and help us preserve this section of history. I'm so excited you all could be with us today, and I've got my coffee here. If you don't mind, occasionally I'm going to take a sip of that and hopefully stay this animated through the whole session. So this is our building in downtown Dallas, the Dallas Public Library Central location. We are about to celebrate our 40th year in this building in April. So we're very excited about that. Each floor of the library is actually a subject specialty floor, if you can imagine. So we actually are on the top floor of the library, and we actually have a whole acre dedicated of space dedicated to genealogy and history research. Our whole collection is actually nationally recognized as one of the top 10 genealogy libraries in the country. So if you haven't been to see us, it's definitely worth the visit. We have material from all 50 states and many international locations. If you can see by the picture below, we organize materials by state and then by county. So you can actually just walk up to the shelf and browse the books. We also have a number of databases and instructional sessions throughout the year to teach you how to use those. I'm really excited about the work that we've been able to do, helping people learn how to get started with their family history research, do more advanced genealogy research, and just learn new parts of research that they may not be familiar about. One thing that's been very good for us is being able to hold bi-weekly programs via Zoom, and we've gotten such a lot of feedback and engagement from that, particularly during the pandemic. So we're on the 8th floor. I'm going to go back to that real quick of the library, but unlike many libraries that have their genealogy and local history collections together, we actually have a separate floor for Dallas history specifically, and archives. And this floor actually collects manuscripts and books and photographs and newspapers and all kinds of different things about Dallas, and represents many major cities through Texas and all kinds of different resources. And they hold many original Dallas city and county record collections. And one of those is the City of Dallas building permit books. So these are oversized ledgers. They contain original permit applicants' names, a description of the building that they are wanting to build, and the address in Dallas of where they're located. And so the 7th floor has this wonderful collection these ledgers span the time period of 1905, which is when the ledgers start, actually through 1970. So this is the huge collection of this really, really big books. But as we all know, as genealogy researchers, those books actually hold really important information. So that's my next slide. Why are these books so important? So the permit books are actually the way to figure out when a property was developed and houses built in Dallas. So the 7th floor is really fantastic about walking people through that process of how to trace the history of their house and how to use these permit books to figure out when building occurred. So to consult to trace the history of a house in Dallas, you go to those wonderful city directories and crisscross directories, and you look for your address until the street address disappears, because once it disappears, there's not a house there or a building there. And so once you find that date, you actually have to go into the permit book and browse through a year's worth of the register until you find your correct entry. And as genealogists, we love in-depth research, but shouldn't this be a little bit easier? So we came together and we tried to figure out how we can take these 100-plus-year-old books and digitize them, scan them, and preserve them, because as you can see, this is a 1905 ledger. It's not in the best shape, and we definitely want to preserve it. We want to make this search process easier for customers. We want to create a digitization file where we have a archival quality scan of the image, but these ledgers are huge and they don't fit on a regular scanner. So that was our first problem. And then after that, we want to create a searchable transcription. So we've got a lot of opportunities here that we faced a few years ago when we first started on this. But we were able to open our Heritage Lab. It is part of the Dallas Public Library's creative spaces, which are unique little niche areas in the library that speak to each floor's subject specialty. And so as the genealogy and history floor, we opened the Heritage Lab. And the Heritage Lab is all about a place for customers to digitize your family memories and create, taking those family memories and finding new ways to share them with other family members who may not have seen them, to celebrate memories of times past, and really energize people about their family history. So we opened this space in September of 2019 with generous support from the Dallas Genealogical Society, the Friends of the Dallas Public Library, and the Levi Casey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. One of the wonderful gifts that we received is a copybook scanner for the public to use. And of course, we also wanted to use it for some of our collections here in the library. So if you're not necessarily familiar with this scanner, it scans oversized materials. It scans them overhead to protect delicate bindings and what have you. It's the same scanner that Family Search uses for their book scanning project, and what the Portal to Texas History uses to scan all of the wonderful newspapers that you see on the portal. And so we received this gift, and then we received a wonderful volunteer who wanted to volunteer with us and has an experience with the Portal to Texas History and with other scanning projects, and was really ready to help us figure out how to scan these ledgers. So we were so excited She was actually able to scan through the 1930s of these ledger books. And then the pandemic hit and we closed down, which brings us to our transcription project. So a little background on this is library staff was actually sent home on the last week of March in 2020. And then we were reactivated to work from home. And so we were tasked with coming up with work from home projects. And as we had these books scanned, we organized a transcription project for staff to use and start transcribing these pages. So we developed a transcription process. And as you can see, this is one side of the ledger of the building permit book. So you can see a little illustration of what the handwriting looked like, and what we are transcribing here. So we developed a transcription process. We use Microsoft Teams. We have 2 people transcribe each page. And then a librarian reviews the 2 transcriptions for any discrepancy. And then they make a final decision and put all of the transcriptions together. And then the output is, of course, a complete searchable transcription. So we were home, I believe, for about 2 months, and we worked on this project. We got through just about 1 complete ledger, I believe. And then we were tasked with going back to the library and being here in the building with working with the collections, and this project kind of fell by the wayside. But we had this whole process worked out. So we decided to have our volunteers come back virtually because they couldn't be in the building. And we just have such wonderful volunteers that we wanted to make sure that everybody had a way to help while we were in this pandemic times. But we used the same process that we had for staff and open it up for volunteers. So this is a pitch that I give to our volunteers. This is a great way to help your community and preserve history. You can volunteer on your own schedule. It doesn't matter when or where you do this. You can even do it in your fuzzy slippers. You just need a computer. Usually it's better if you do have a laptop or a desktop. It's a little harder to do on a tablet or an iPad. And then of course you would need an internet connection. But we were able to offer the added incentive if you did 20 hours of transcription, you would be eligible to earn a Dallas Public Library card with free access to our digital databases and e-resources. So that's a great incentive to help us out. You don't have to be a Dallas resident to help us. You can volunteer from anywhere that you would like. And as our databases and e-resources are usually only for Dallas residents, this is a great way to get access to some of our resources and not have to move to Dallas. So it's really easy to be a volunteer. We set this program up to be very do it yourself, so that you could do it on your own time and weren't worrying about how to arrange a meeting or what have you. There is a volunteer form that you fill out. I created a little short bit.ly link that's easy to remember. It's bit.ly and /DPL volunteer. And choose the option digitizing documents. And then you wait for the volunteer coordinator to contact you. And then there are two short trainings that I created. So you'll see my face a lot, but it's self-guided. You just play the videos that I made and go through a general orientation as far as how to use our Microsoft Teams system and our volunteer tracking hours program. And then specialized permit book training to kind of give you the ins and outs of how to transcribe. And that is really all I have for you. I'm sure you probably have a lot of questions. We'll repeat the session in a few minutes after we take questions, if anybody missed the first part or needs us to repeat it again. But I've listed our contact information on the website, or contact information on this page. We do help with research. If you're not here in Dallas, you can email us, you can call us. We're happy to help you at any point. And there is the link again to volunteer with us. We'd love to have you on board. I see a question. It says, are you accessible to use online from other states? You can volunteer with us from other states. If you do the 20 hours of service, you can access our databases and e-resources from another state. I hope that answers your questions, or the question that was listed there. If you have a question, you can type it in chat, or you can unmute and ask it. Okay, then we had a question posted. If I visit from another state, will I be able to come in and review records? Yes, our genealogy collection is made for visitors from all over the US to come visit us. I like to call it a destination research library. So you would have the exact same access to everything that a Dallas resident would have. We will get you a computer, we'll set you up with our databases, you can browse the collection and make scans or copies. We're here to help you with whatever you need. We have a fabulous staff who are trained specifically in genealogy, and we have about 80 years of combined experience. So you've got the experts here to help you with whatever you need.